Welcome back to this very, very long series of Asperger's related questions and answers. And today we're answering 10,000 Warlock question. He should have had an S after that, would have made it more sensical. Is it hard for Aspies to concentrate for a period of time? Man, I'm all burpy today. It happens to me and I have Asperger's. Well, short answer, yes. It's hard to concentrate for a period of time. It's hard to concentrate at all. Unless it's something you really like, and then it's hard to not concentrate on it. We're selective concentrators. That's the problem with school, because some topics you don't concentrate on at all, whilst other topics you concentrate on too much. And some topics that aren't actually in school you concentrate on so much that you bring it into your schoolwork, and all of a sudden you have thesis on monkeys, even though it was in physics. So yeah. Pepanda 1995 again. Didn't you remove your previous? Yeah, you did. Okay. Is it normal for Aspies to get extremely jealous when their best friends start making new friends? Well, can't really say. I don't know all Aspies, like I usually say. Well, if you only have one friend, you're gonna be pretty possessive about the friend, and you're gonna have a lot of investment in that friend. It's the same when I talk to my girlfriend and she's talking to somebody else over MSN at the same time. I get all like poofy and like, I don't like it when you do that, because I want her to focus on me 100%. Because when I talk to someone, I focus 100% on them. For some reason. So yeah, but I'm not jealous that she has other friends. I don't know. I can't really say. I think that's just a thing that people do. I guess. Huh. What do you think of Sweden? Do you like it there? No, it's a horrible place. That's unfair to Sweden. The Swedish people are horrible, and they're all carbon cutouts of themselves, and they're faggy and they're boring. And the ones that think they're different are goths or emos, and they buy clothes in goth stores, which makes them carbon cutouts of themselves. I really, really, really don't like our mainstreamness. It's a horrible plague and it should stop. But Sweden as a country, if you remove the people, is a pretty damn beautiful and nice country, actually. A bit bland, I guess. We have some good scenery. The people here, though, aren't that good. There are, of course, exceptions. Most of them have Asperger's, then there are other exceptions, and those exceptions are the ones I usually tend to drag myself to and befriend. There's just not that many of them. I'm sure it's the same in all countries, but Sweden is just such a faggy country. I'm sorry, it's just giant douchebags. Just look at our Eurovision songs, and just look at all the TV with the. I'm not gonna go into a rant on that because I could. How old were you when you first got diagnosed? I already said, like 19 to 21, I guess. What do your friends think about you having Asperger's? I don't believe any one of my friends have ever actually had comments on the fact that I have Asperger's, because they like me for me, I hope. I'm teaching them a lot about Asperger's because they didn't really know that much. A lot of them already knew somebody with Asperger's, or like heard about it that way. And so, yeah, I guess they're not surprised, I guess. Very vague answers to your questions here. How did you feel when you got diagnosed? Well, I wanted to be diagnosed. I asked the psychiatrist to do the tests on me because I was so sure I had Asperger's. And I basically just waited for them to be done so I could get the diagnosis because I was sure I had it. And when I got the diagnosis, I just went, there, now I have it. Meanwhile, he was doing the tests. It took several days, so when between the meetings, I just did nothing but search online for information about Asperger's. And I learned a lot about it, and I learned a lot about myself because of it. How did I feel? I felt good, because I felt like I was part of something for the first time in my life. I felt at home, and I felt like myself. Just like you're supposed to feel. It's only a shame that it took so long for me to realize that. Because everybody else has made me feel like I'm wrong. But the diagnosis made me feel like I'm myself, which is right. So, yeah. That's why I keep telling people to get the diagnosis and talk to the psychiatrist and not be afraid of Asperger's. Because it's a good thing. And I get panic attacks when people fight, yell at me, or when I'm in large crowds. Does that happen to you too, or is that maybe because I'm a female? When I started reading the sentence, I thought, is this person a female? Because I know a lot of females who get panic attacks basically when people fight or confront them in any way. That's kind of a female thing. However, the fact that you have Asperger's makes it worse, I guess, because you can't shut out the inputs. You take it too much, you get overly emotional because of it inside. And maybe, your logical side wants to solve it somehow, but you can't, and you just don't know what to do. And that gives you a panic attack. It's like nothing to be ashamed of or worry about. Well, worry maybe, but I don't think it's because of the Asperger's. I don't think it's because of the female thing. I just think it's you're that kind of person. It's okay. Like Katerina is the same way, basically. Not the same way, but she also don't like it when people fight and get kind of weird. But it's her right to be herself. Anyway, finally, new question. Okay, that's not centered enough. Come on. There we go. Hi, I tried getting a diagnosis. The doctor said that the info from my mom about my childhood seemed inconsistent with Asperger's. Q. To what extent do you think a diagnosis ought to depend upon specific childhood behaviors? In my case, the 20-year ago memories of a mother who struggled with depression. If you asked my mom how I was as a kid, she would just say that, oh, he was such a sweet child, and just ran around having fun all day, and that's not what I did as a child. Asking somebody else for opinions on how you are is never gonna work. It doesn't even work in a court. If they if somebody comes in and say, this guy is a swell guy, he didn't murder that guy, that doesn't actually work in a court, and it doesn't work in real life. Even my brother have told me stuff like, oh, you don't think about stuff like that. To which I replied, yes, I do. I think about it every day. And people don't know you because they're not you. End of story. So what your mom said about you is inaccurate. If you, as a child, for example, I'm just throwing things out now. If you as a child felt really depressed and almost suicidal or something because you were bullied in school, and you say that to the doctor, and the doctor says, no, your mom said that you were very happy as a child, and the kids in school teased you a bit, but you weren't that worried about it, then what you said takes precedence. Precedence, is that a word? No. So tell the doctor not to talk to your mom. I don't know how old you are in this case. Over 20 years, I guess. But yeah, I have no way to end these stories, so I'm just gonna take the next question. Hi, times two. Oh, I forgot to say your name. That's the same guy. I almost said Mats because it's spelled with a 4. Maybe that's how we're supposed to say it. M4TTS1M. No, it's Matthias. Matsime. Whatever. Hi, times two. I don't drive. No license. I choose not to for the same reason that most other people choose not to juggle chainsaws. Do you do you drive? Do you have similar normal or common thing that you avoid or choose not to do? Man, I can't read. I do drive. I have a driver's license. It took me 4 times to actually pass the driver's exam, which is a lot of times, granted. My mom never wanted me to drive. She said that it was that Aspies shouldn't be able to have driver's licenses because they can't focus when they drive. And I was like, oh, that's so stupid, I can drive, I drive better than you do. But she was partly correct. I still don't think that Aspies shouldn't be allowed to drive, because I think we drive well enough, but we can phase out quite easily when we're driving. And that's not a good time to phase out. But it's like, okay, think about it this way. You chose not to because, like, for normal people, they don't juggle chainsaws. Like, a normal person can learn to juggle chainsaws. Even a person who don't juggle, have juggle sense. Everyone can learn everything. Sure, it might be dangerous. I mean, you don't juggle the chainsaws when they're turned on, I don't think, and probably have some plastic cover for it. Just take it slowly. You can learn it though, so it's not like it's something that Aspies can't do. I don't really have anything that I don't do, other than talk in the phone at work and talk to the guests in the register at work, because I simply don't like that. But I'm also doing that because I want to save the people. Because if I stood in the register taking money for the people, we would have no guests at the restaurant. Because I'm not a pleasant guy to talk to. It's like I'm a rude, very forward douchebag who. When I'm out there actually and people are taking food from the buffet line, I just stand there going like, oh, are you gonna eat that sauce with that stuff? Like, are you gonna eat chicken, fish, and a steak on the same plate? And they go like, yeah. And I'm like, well, it's your food. And if I did that on all the guests, we would have a lot less guests. So yeah, sometimes I just don't do stuff like that, I guess.